Welcome to today's Explainer. Today, we're going to be exploring the fundamental principles of responsible governance. Our goal over the next few minutes is to take formal civic rules, concepts that can honestly feel a bit abstract, and transform them into a totally clear, actionable roadmap. The core shift in perspective we're going to make today is absolutely profound. We need to stop looking at the government as a ruler sitting up high on a throne and start seeing them as hired stewards. They are essentially just managing your valuable assets.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is how we'll break it down. First, the ultimate power, you. Second, the duty of elected leaders. Third, a professional, responsive state. Fourth, essential services and infrastructure. And finally, number 5, security and global relations.
Section 1. The ultimate power. You.
Let's start with a really crucial word, sovereignty. This principle dictates that all national assets belong strictly to the citizens. I want to ground our entire explainer in this shared vocabulary because it honestly changes everything. Think about it. The government doesn't own the country. The politicians certainly don't own the country. You do. From the land and resources to the tax revenue collected, you are the ultimate shareholder of this whole operation. Let's move to and see how this builds. This is the mechanical flow of delegation, and it's a simple 3-step process. First, citizens enact the Constitution and the laws. Second, citizens elect leaders. And third, those leaders are then required to serve the public interest. Notice the direction of the flow here. Power moves strictly from you up to them. You authorize this authority for one reason and one reason only, so they can manage your assets.
Section 2. The duty of elected leaders.
There is a remarkably stark contrast between the right and the wrong views of holding public office. On one hand, you have a temporary trust, meaning the office operates transparently and acts fairly. On the completely opposite side, you have personal entitlement, where funds are misused and power is exploited for political or factional gain. The source material is adamant about this. Public funds must never, ever be exploited. Holding public office is a temporary stewardship and nothing more.
Our source material explicitly defines this dynamic. It states, the purpose of public revenue is to deliver services at the quality and speed expected by the people. I love this because it perfectly frames what taxes actually are. They aren't a penalty, they're a transaction. You pay into the system and the mandated expected output is timely, high-quality service delivery. If you aren't getting that, well, the stewards are actively failing the shareholders.
Section 3. A professional, responsive state. To actually make all of this work, the state has a strict obligation to hire based purely on merit, competence, and integrity. But pay close attention to that middle principle, preventing unnecessary overstaffing. Efficiency is an actual, literal duty owed to the taxpayers. Keeping the workforce lean and avoiding a bloated bureaucracy isn't just about saving a few bucks. It's a fundamental responsibility of prudent asset management. And it's not just the workforce that needs to be responsive. It's the actual rulebook itself. Laws have to be continuously reviewed and revised. Why? Because laws aren't just monuments set in stone. They are living tools. They need constant reform to strengthen justice, to ensure things remain fair, and ultimately, to maintain your vital trust in the whole system. Section 4. Essential services and infrastructure. Now, what's really interesting about this dynamic is how the state's responsibilities perfectly mirror your entitlements. The state manages public revenue, right? Therefore, you are fully entitled to the timely delivery of services. The state manages maintenance. Therefore, you're entitled to high-quality education and healthcare. The state has to continuously improve these services to meet evolving needs. It is quite literally a guaranteed return on your civic investment. And this expectation of quality absolutely extends to the physical world around us. National infrastructure demands the highest standard of maintenance, modernization, and resilience planning. Just building a road, a bridge, or a power grid isn't the end of the job. Actively modernizing it for the future and making sure it can withstand disasters, those are essential ongoing responsibilities of the state to you. So everything we've talked about covers internal organization, but that leads us to a pretty massive question. How do we protect these incredible national assets from outside threats? Because even the most perfectly efficient system still exists in a complex, unpredictable global environment.
Section 5. Security and global relations.
When it comes to protecting the nation, these security guidelines are absolutely non-negotiable. First, national security must never be compromised. Period.
Second, foreign investments have to be evaluated rigorously. And third, strategic assets must be kept under national control. It is so vital to scrutinize outside money so that it never places hidden, undue burdens on future generations. Your national assets have to remain firmly under your control.
So the crucial point is this. Foreign policy has to prioritize neutrality, respect, and the long-term interests of all generations. Engaging with the world is necessary, sure, but international partnerships must always support national development without ever compromising the nation's independence. It's a tricky balancing act, but the long-term benefit of the citizens always has to tip the scales.
As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with a final thought to chew on. Are your national assets being managed as a temporary trust or as a personal entitlement? I urge you to start viewing your government through this incredibly empowering lens of stewardship. Remember, at the end of the day, you hold the ultimate power. Take these principles, apply them to what you see happening in the real world, and hold your stewards accountable. Thank you so much for joining me, and keep learning.